Hey everyone, I wanted to share with you how Jesus has changed my life. And specifically, I want to talk about hope because I feel like that's how he's changed my life is he's given me hope. And let me start off by talking about death because I feel like my life has really been marked by death. And, like most people, I lost my grandparents and I lost my dad at a pretty early age. And then some of the things that were super hard on us were we had 3 miscarriages and then we lost a child during delivery. And that was pretty tough, and just those things made us think a lot about life and death and what matters in life. And I feel like if you don't have a hope beyond this life, then this life's kind of despairing because it's like, And I'm not saying you should believe in eternal life just because that's hopeful or just because, boy, that gives us warm fuzzies or something. But I feel like we already know about eternal life. And you might argue with me on this, but I feel like there are 3 things that we just know intuitively. Just God has put these things on our hearts. And one of them is that there is a God. There is a God who created us. And the second is that there is life after death. And the third is that when we die, that there's some kind of accounting for our lives. So, like we'll stand before God and go through some sort of judgment. And I feel like these 3 things that we sense these things. We just know these things. And so if all we have in life is the knowledge that eventually we're going to die and stand before God on a judgment day, it's like, wow, that's a terrifying thing. And so that's where I feel like Jesus has given me hope, because Jesus came to the earth for a very specific purpose. He came to die. He came to go to the cross. And it wasn't some sort of senseless death, but he came specifically to pay for people's sins, so that we could have eternal life, not by like working our way to heaven or something, or by being good enough people, but we could have eternal life by trusting in him and what he did for us on the cross. And that's the good news of the message of Jesus. And so I feel like that gives us hope, like a confident hope, because there's a meaning to life and a meaning after life. So that's the first way I feel that Jesus has given me hope. The second way that he's given me hope is hope in this life. And I think I'm a pretty nice person overall, at least outwardly, but probably like most people, I have thoughts that go through my mind, things that I think, snide comments inside. Sometimes I can be kind of mean and heartless, ruthless, unloving, judgmental. My mind can go all sorts of places. And if those thoughts were all just left to their own, I think it would really take me to some really dark places of just being murderous and adulterous and probably all sorts of other types of us's. And it's just ugly. And those parts of me are parts of me that I feel like it's like, for me to have a good life, those parts of me need to be killed. Those parts of me need to be taken out. And apart from that, it's like, man, I am going to ruin my own life. And so that's something that I feel like Jesus has given me hope in, is he's helped me to squelch those parts of me that would destroy me. So he doesn't just save me in the next life, but he saves me in this life by almost like saving me from me. And so I feel like, man, there is a ton of hope in that. Let me just share one passage with you that I was thinking about here today. And it's from the book of James, and it's chapter 4, starting at verse 7. It says, "Submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come near to God, and he will come near to you. Wash your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Grieve, mourn, and wail. Change your laughter to mourning, and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up." And I feel like that's a great starting point with God, is just to come before him in humility and just be like, man, God, I have offended you. I've messed up. I've done a lot of things that are wrong, and there is no way I can earn my way to you. And that's just a beautiful place to start. And then I like the middle of that passage where it talked about come near to him and he will come near to you. And that's where I feel like, man, in that there's life. If I come near to him, he comes near to me. And in that, there's hope. So I hope that's encouraging to you. If you ever have any questions, of course, I would love to talk to you. I think this is the most important thing in life. So thanks for your time.